very, very difficult. But a town hall meeting is actually taking place tonight in Rancho Buena Vista High School, and Congressman Darrell Issa is joining us this morning.
Welcome. And I'm going to have a lot of fun there tonight. We've got seating for 1,500 and standing for a few thousand more. And we're going to try and bring the level of this debate back to where it should be.
I was going to say, you're going to put some rules down and actually not allow screaming and yelling. And
well, there'll be some. I'm sure there will be. We even have a protest area because I respect the right that if people want to be on TV protesting, great. But most people are either concerned that they're going to lose a system they have or that the increase in cost is going to make it unaffordable. We need to have genuine debate about the things that I've been hearing throughout August, about the things that perhaps just because I came out of business, I knew about cost, and say, okay, am I mandated to go back to Washington and work on lowering the cost of health care, finding the things the federal government is part of the problem, not the solution, and dealing with the uninsured in a way that doesn't bankrupt America? If the answers to those questions and the ones that are asked are consistent, then I'm empowered to go back and work on a bipartisan bill, something that we haven't been offered yet. But the president, by throwing the progressives, over 100 Democrats who said they won't do a bill unless there's a single-payer option, the so-called government option. Well, the wonderful thing is he said no public option. That means those 100 are out, and hopefully 100 Republicans are in for a bipartisan bill.
You know, with the death of Senator Kennedy last week and the renewed focus among Democrats about pushing this plan through for him and Americans, they say, what kind of leverage do you think they'll have? Or do you think they have more, I don't know, momentum has shifted?
Well, I think the momentum shifted when the Blue Dogs said they're not going to go along on something that runs up the cost of health care. You know, actually, the 1,100 pages that are out there right now predict a 3% of everyone's paychecks being an increase in the cost of health care. And the Blue Dogs said, no, we've got to be able to do this fiscally responsible. And that was the beginning of the division within the Democrats that hopefully will cause the minority, Republicans, to say, we have some programs and some plans that could drive down the cost of health care without eliminating your choice, and that would allow us to do more and do more of it in the private way. And if I can pitch one thing, I have a one-page bill that I'd like to see included. And it simply says that every American at their own expense or at their employer's expense could have access to the health care plan that I have as a congressman. You know, I have about an $8,000 a year plan that has no pre-existing condition limitations. I can change once a year. I have over 300 different choices in the plan of HMOs, PPOs. I have all this, so does every federal worker. We could open that up to the public, and suddenly that $24,000, $30,000 nightmare when you've had a health event that your renewal cost would go away. The small employer, the individual self-employed person would have access to it. I'm hoping we get that into the dialogue, along with some reform that would cause doctors to be less concerned about being sued every time they have to ask, do I do 10 extra procedures to not be sued, or do I do just what you need for your health?
Yeah, there's so many layers to this. And what I find interesting is that now the president, you know, they're calling it Obamacare, but the president actually hasn't put his own plan out there. There is no Obamacare. There are 3 House bills and I believe 1 in the Senate. And now the president has said, look, now that all this is sort of blown up and gone up in the air and things like that, I'm going to put out my own plan and see if you nibble on that. What do you think about that? I mean, it seems as if he's tested the water, he sees what's going on, and he's sort of stepping back and saying, I'm going to back off.
Well, the president should be a consensus builder. The president should not be the person that says it's my way or the highway, please rubber stamp our bill. And I'm hoping that in fact this is a good sign, that he can lay out not a bill of his own, but a set of principles. We need to have coverage for everyone. We need to work on affordability. We certainly need to end this whole question of if you have a condition, you're stuck with your employer in a single plan because there's no portability, there's no ability to move. And I've talked to insurance companies. I've taken the time to talk to them, and they say, look, we don't mind having somebody with a pre-existing condition come to us, quote, without a run-up, but we have to be sure that we're not the only insurance company doing it because we can't be getting the adverse selection. Government has a role in leveling the playing field. And just the last thing for everyone to understand, you know, you and I are used to the fact that our cable bill is the same as somebody else's cable bill, no matter how far we are from the company. Our electric bill is the same as everyone else, no matter how far away we are. Our phone bill. We're used to the fact that government levels the playing field as part of the deal of universal access. That's a role the government can play, but not dismantling your relationship with your doctor.
The town hall meeting that's going to be held at Rancho Buena Vista, that is tomorrow.
No, it's
tonight. It is tonight.
6:30.
There we go, right there.
And Rancho Buena Vista, of course, they won the Little League for this region 4 years ago. So, you know, it's timely that they were going to the high school that was big 4 years ago.
Yes, the previous heroes of the Little League.
There's room for 1,500 people to
inside,
attend this.
and we have additional speakers and room outside. So we're going to try and accommodate everybody who comes. Those who come with big signs will be part of the outside group, but we're going to take our constituents and non-constituents and try to satisfy as many people as we can, and we're going to take as many questions as time allows, and the questions will be selected by a person from a radio station who I have no control over, Rick Roberts. And we're going to do that because I don't want to be picking the questions. I want them genuinely to come from the audience, be picked by somebody else.
All right. Congressman Darrell Issa, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate your time this morning.
Of course, we'll be there tonight covering that.
Yes, we will.
We'll have all the coverage tomorrow morning.